Last 2 days were earth moving days. We're at the highest point on our property right here. We got this this swale capped off over on this side, and I'm just going to take you on a little walk through what we did the last couple of days and all the work we got done. This is our highest swale here, and this one, pretty sure we went down 6 inches, maybe a foot. I don't remember what it was. It's a pretty nice, pretty good sized swale, but regardless of the depth, I think it'll overflow at about 6 inches off the other side. So just really gave us a great amount of material and a good space to plant into here. We're going to be able to fit a ton of trees on this line, which is good because we got a ton of them coming. So this one goes out and terminates on the end over there. And rather than having a full level sill spill, we're actually just going to let it come off at the end over here and just let it fall into the next swale down here. This one was kind of fun. This one terminates on the end up here and goes down, and we could have taken it straight through the fence, but we would have ended up with a big gap underneath the fence, which we did in a couple other places, but we didn't want to patch that much. So we actually just took it down grade a little ways until the bottom of the swale came up level with the ground, and then just left a little patch of grass there under the fence so that the water could just pass to the fence easily that way. So that guy goes over to that end there and then spills over the side again into the next swale, which I'll talk about here in a little bit. But one thing I wanted to point out back here was that we had a hole in our catchment here along this tree line, and we would have lost everything coming down this way here towards the neighbor's house. So we actually left a little bit of a space between the berm that we put in here and the fence so that we could still get around the fence with the mower, but we definitely wanted to make use of this space here and not lose all the water running off of it. So we actually put a berm. It was just some extra dirt. It's not level or anything like that. It's just a diversion berm, and it's going to divert all the water that comes up to it. And once there's surplus, it's actually going to divert it down here into the main swale, which is really where we want the water to go because that's the one that feeds our pond. But right here, rather than terminating this and having it fall into the next one, we wanted to keep the access point here, so we actually made a little bit of a hump here that we could drive over that's still higher grade than the ground, and so it'll continue to divert water into the main swale here. And this is the big one. This one goes from one side of our property all the way to the other. The two longest points on the property, the highest, longest swale. This is where we started our design, because this was we knew was the main source of water and the longest we could actually catch from. The ones above it are just going to be tree lines that are going to be diverting their water down here. So I'll fence and bring you through the inner pasture here and show you some of the cool features that we got in this area. Up here is that second swale there. That'll all be planted with trees. I'm thinking something through here is going to be good fodder trees, you know, trees that aren't going to have any toxicity issues with maybe goats, small animals like sheep, and obviously horses. But this we're always going to have animals in here, so I want to plant things that'll be good feed for them. We'll have to close it off while the trees are young. We'll have to put some fencing around the tree line so that they don't get in and browse them to the ground. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm definitely open to some suggestions for some good trees to plant in here. I'm sure we have some coming. I'm just not sure exactly what they are yet. But in this area, we for every once in a while, we'll bring hay bales through. Or we have found ourselves many times bringing the truck or the tractor in this gate here, and we drive back into this pasture and exit that gate over there. So we wanted to keep this access point, so we actually went out and got some double wall pipe, 20-foot section, 8-inch, and the bottom of the pipe is level with the bottom of the swale here, and we actually packed a little bit of a road over the top of it. And we'll be able to plant that, you know, back to grass and pasture, but we wanted to maintain that possibility to get access back here, just in case we have, you know, a sick or an injured animal that needs to be trailered out. We need to be able to get a truck into them. So that's going to come around, obviously, the back of this other road here, and this swale goes all the way down the entire length of the property, like I was saying. And I suppose this would be a good opportunity to show you guys this one. This is just a little short swale, just to you know, catch the runoff from this swale here. Just another opportunity to slow the water down and to really feed whatever we want to plant on top of this berm. Again, a really nice, long, wide berm here. We can do some nice staggered rows. I mean, just tons of opportunity for vegetative growth here. So down here at the end, we have another pipe and our other road, which goes out to the fence here. And then on the other side, we have the beginning of our pond. On the other side of our fence here, we have the pond breast. And this is packed down pretty good, but we didn't spend too much time. I mean, he definitely went over it with the skid loader for quite a while, packing it down, but we're really not too concerned about compaction just because our soil is so sandy. I mean, there's no clay whatsoever available to us here. So we're really going to be relying on pigs to do most of our sealing of this pond, and we really hope that it works. If nothing else, it's a small enough area. We could bring in some bentonite clay if we needed to. But either way, we did not put a keyway down underneath this. We really didn't feel that it was even necessary, just because even no matter how much we pack down this sandy dirt, it's never going to pack down like clay. So we're really going to rely on the pigs creating a natural liner. And I'm pretty excited about the amount of space they're going to have in here. It's not going to be too deep. We're basically just going to let the grade dictate how deep it gets. We're going to keep it shallow enough of a grade that you know, a pig could lay comfortably on it without feeling like it's going to fall down. And I imagine we'll probably end up with a depth of maybe 4 feet, I would think, at the most. I'm thinking more realistically probably 2 to 3 in this area. But once this pond fills up with water, it's going to overflow into the pipes and along the rest of this swale back to the other side where we had our emergency spillway. I didn't point that out, but you may see it in the video. And that emergency spillway is actually 2 inches higher than our spillways in the end of this swale over here. So we'll head down that way. And so once this pond floods, it'll back flood, or once it fills, it'll back flood into these swales and head back down from whence it came this way. So we didn't get quite as much dirt out of this area here, so our berms aren't quite as wide, but that's okay. Our goal here was to really push the line as close to the fence as possible, because this is going to be our main line of windbreak trees along this line. So we really wanted to get this towards the edge of the property as far as we could. So this is our first of 2 sills. It's 8 feet wide. Once the swale fills to the point that it no longer can hold any more water, it'll actually start to flood over the top of this sill. And the reason that it's level is so that it's nice and passive, so it doesn't erode time. And so really the fullest that this swale can get is the depth and the height of that sill there, which is probably about 6-8 inches. It's not too much at all. But there's that one there, and then down along this line there's going to be one more. So these 2 spillways are going to let the water go before the emergency spillway at the other end of the swale will. So here's our other spillway there. And then at the end of the swale, we actually have our height packed down at the same level of our emergency spillway. So this is 2 inches higher than the regular spillways. So if it gets to the point where there's too much water, it needs somewhere to go, rather than going over the top of our berms, it'll spill out of this side and our emergency spillway. And the farther we got today was, looks like about 1/4 to 1/3 of the way down this big swale. This is going to be a good one. This one we went 1 foot deep, and we really wanted to get a good amount of dirt on the back side of it, because we really want to do some pretty heavy planting along this one as well. So this one here, you may have noticed from if you watched the last video, this pine tree is no longer there because it was right where we needed to go. But this guy here is going to follow this trail of flags straight back to the house, well, towards the house at least, and we may be able to tie into that later on with more of our Zone 2 food forest stuff that we do here around the chicken house that I've been working vigilantly on. And then maybe another pond here down the road, but I really don't want to get too ambitious with the ponds until we figure out whether or not we can get them to hold water and just how much water we can count on them keeping. So I'm still a little bit skeptical of filling this first pond. You know, the numbers, they add up, and they add up in surplus, but I'm still just a little bit leery that it's going to fill up. So we'll see, I guess. So at this point, I say let it rain. It's going to be really fun to see this start to work and to see it fill up, and hopefully we can get some trees in the ground before that happens too much, but I would say any rain we get at this point is going to be very much appreciated. We won't feel like we're missing out on it when we get it. So anyway, thanks for watching.